The engagement? The engagement? What you talking about, Joan? I just came over here to vent. So you mean to tell me that my girlfriend is engaged to somebody else? She's like, my bad. I mean, no, she not. I don't know what's happening. What is going on? I am Dear Ashley Grace, and welcome back to another episode of The Culture Voyage. So in this episode, we will be discussing the time that Toni slapped Joan right across the face. But before we get into the slap, we gotta set the stage of how we got here. So we're in the first season of Girlfriends. Toni is dating Greg. Now, Toni and Greg used to date in college, but that was when they were both broke, college students struggling, had all that passion and whatnot. But now as adults, they don't date any longer because now Toni has different interests. However, she sees him at an art gallery as he's bartending, and they decide to rekindle the flames. So while they were in college, Greg was an inspiring artist and still is an inspiring artist, where he's trying to sell his paintings, but baby is not making money. So it's causing a strain within their relationship because Toni is all about her coin, and Toni has been primarily supporting him this entire time. Now, in the episode previously, Toni meets Clay, who was Maya's doctor, and they spark an interest in each other. However, Toni makes it clear that she's in a relationship with Greg. However, she does entertain going out with him a few times. Well, these few times turn into a thing, and now Toni is at Clay's place. They are on the couch, they're talking, they're canoodling, and the next thing you know, Clay's tongue is down Toni's throat. And you know what happened after that. So we move on to the next scene where Toni and Joan and Maya and Lynn are at Joan's house and they're talking. And Toni starts to get emotional because she feels terribly, as she should, that she cheated on Greg with Clay. Not only that, she finds out that she has chlamydia and has to admit to the girls that not only did she cheat on Greg, but she slept with them both in the same night, and she does not know who gave her the STD. So Joan and the girls are giving her the blues because, ma'am, not only are you cheating, but you out here having condomless with a man that you're not even with. How unfortunate. And so the girls impart on Toni to talk to Clay and Greg and tell them the truth. And so she meets up with Greg again at her place and guilt trip him, essentially saying, I have chlamydia. I need to know, do you have chlamydia? What's going on? Greg is like, baby girl, if I have it, I didn't know it. And I need you to know right now, I would never cheat on you. I love you. She was like, well, you need to get checked out because my doctor said it could be lying dormant and we need to make sure that you don't have it because I have it. And so he goes, gets checked, and he finds out that he does not have chlamydia. So now he asks Toni, well, if I don't have it and you have it, were you ever cheating on me? She's like, no, of course not. It was lying dormant in me probably. To which then she has to go and talk to Clay. Dr. Clay saying, well, maybe I'm asymptomatic. That's why I didn't know that I had it. I'm sorry. But maybe this is a good thing. Excuse me, sir? Maybe this just means that we need to slow down, take our time, do it right. We can do it, baby. Do it tonight. And after all of that, she still wants to be involved with Clay. I don't care if he didn't know, if he did know. The fact that you're still entertaining him at this point is insane to me. So fast forward, we're in the next episode and Clay and Toni are back at his place, and all of a sudden Clay pops out a ring and wants to propose to her. And so she's like, yes, of course I'll marry you, Clay. So she goes to the girls flaunting this ring, and obviously so they think it's from Greg. And Joan is like, excuse me? You love Greg. Why aren't you marrying Greg? And she's like, listen, I can't live my life off of hopes and dreams. Greg can't give me the lifestyle that I want. Clay can. I love Greg, but this is just going to be more beneficial for me. To which the ladies impart to her, listen, if this is what you want to do, then fine. But please let Greg know. Don't leave him hanging. Don't disparage him. He has no idea that this is happening. So she says she's going to do all the things. Now, before she can do that, however, Greg comes over to Joan's place and discusses the relationship with Toni. He's like, I'm a loser. I don't understand how I can get back into Toni's good graces. We're in such a bad place right now. And then Joan is like, it's not your fault. Toni is just materialistic. She said yes to the ring, not really so much of the engagement. He's like, the engagement? The engagement? What you talking about, Joan? I just came over here to vent. So you mean to tell me that my girlfriend is engaged to somebody else? She's like, my bad. I mean, no, she not. I mean, I don't know what's happening. I thought you knew. I thought she told you. I thought that's why you came over here. He was like, you know what? You done made this whole process easier for me because I'm done with that girl. Now we're seeing Toni back at Clay's place. She's like, listen, the ring was nice. I wish I could marry you, but I can't. I'm in love with Greg and you should be with somebody who want to be with you. And he was like, you don't want to be with me. You don't love me. I need you to get out. And he gives Toni the painting bag that he bought. He didn't really want that painting. He was buying a painting that was made by her boyfriend at the time. So we fast forward again. Now we're at dinner. Toni is waiting for Greg. She calls Joan and says, listen, girl, you were right. I love Greg. I found it in my heart. I listened to my soul. And I want to be with this man for the rest of my life. And Joan is like, Lord, girl, please. I didn't know that you now wanted to be with Greg. Now, she's not telling Toni this at the time. She's thinking that to herself in her inner monologue. Like, I done told Greg that Toni is leaving him for Clay. And now she's talking about she want to be with Greg. I don't know what to do. Can't tell her right now, though. So at the dinner, Toni is like, listen, Greg, baby boo, I love you. I want to be with you. Greg is like, save it. We don't work. This not working. I don't want to be with you. Here's all the money for all the things that you ever gave me. Deuces. So he breaks up with Toni. And now Toni is distraught. She is sad. Joan is feeling all bad. Like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I did this to my friend. And Joan feels terribly. So bad that she decides that she is going to take herself, Toni, and the girls, Maya and Lynn, to Jamaica to Sinbad Festival. Because this is going to fix everything, right? So at the time, Joan is dating Sean. This is Sean's last weekend in LA before he moves to New York. And he's highly sensitivity because she's always taking on Toni's problems and letting her know that you can't fix everything. And Joan is like, listen, this is my best friend. I love her. I have to fix this. She's very codependent on Toni. So they're in Jamaica. Toni is still upset. She is a fool. She has been trying to call Greg. Greg is not answering her phone call. He wants nothing to do with her. Joan is trying to pawn basically Toni off on any and everybody. To which now she is speaking with Terrell Owens, of all people, at the party. They go off and start dancing, and we don't see them for the rest of the night. So we're at the next morning. This is going to be their last day in Jamaica. And it's like, where's Toni? Where's Toni? Toni didn't come home that night. So we see Toni. She comes back in a different outfit, new attitude, all the things. And the rest like, oh, you must have had a great time last night. Toni's like, yes, I did. I had a ball. And she's like, oh, we're about to leave, we're about to get ready to go. She's like, oh, I'm gonna be with Terrell. Oh, and by the way, he put a ring on it and we're getting married. And everybody's like, girl, you can't just be hopping to peen like this. Like, we need some direction here. Toni's like, listen, Joan, I want to get married. He want to be with me. I want to be with him. No, he's not my dream guy, but he has my dream bank account. He got the funds. He got the money. He got the lifestyle that I want. She's emotionally not in a place to be doing any of this. However, she's letting her emotions rule her decisions. That is when Joan finally admits that she accidentally told Greg about Clay, and that is why he broke up with her.
Greg didn't break up with you for no reason. I slipped up. And I told him that you were going to marry Clay before you had a chance to talk to him. Remember, that's what you said you were going to do. It was just a classic breakdown in communication. Now do you see why you can't marry Terrell? Whew. I, for one, feel so much better that's all out in the open. You!
I'm sorry, Joan, you better than me. Because if that were me, I would have been ragging and tagging Toni. You hear me? I would have been pleading with that girl. Toni leaves. She's upset. She doesn't want anyone to talk to her. She takes it upon herself to go back to California and try to convince or coerce or persuade Joan's man Sean to sleep with her. And when Joan catches in on this, Toni's like, whatever sort of attitude. It's like, girl, I'll see you tomorrow. When Lynn and Maya are like, girl, are you still going to be friends with her after she did that? She's like, this is my relationship with Toni. We'll figure it out, okay? So Joan goes to therapy for her friendship with Toni. She tells the therapist, listen, this girl has been my best friend since we were 8 years old. I was new into town. She, helped me gain confidence. She kept the bullies away. It's my longest relationship, and she wanted to keep it. The therapist is like, listen, this is a toxic relationship, and you need to cut her off. But, of course, Joan doesn't do that. She continues to be miserable and allowing Toni to do whatever she wants to do, being codependent to Toni. And, of course, more happens throughout the season. However, this was enough. This was enough. Toni and Joan's friendship was not a healthy friendship. But there's no way in heaven and earth that, friend or not, you're going to slap me in my face and I'm still going to be friends with you. Joan was way better than me. But let me know what you thought about Toni slapping Joan in the comments. If you have not already, please go ahead and like this video. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and make sure you press that post notification bell so you know when I post videos next. And I will see you in the next culture voyage. Bye.